Alright, we're back for another Q&A. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Thank you for the support on the last video. Had a lot of views, and we finally got over the 9,000 subscriber goal line. I think we're at 9.2 out of the time of this recording, so thank you guys so much for the support. Let's try to get to 10k, and 10k is gonna be crazy. Like, I'm just in disbelief, Thank you for all the comments. I'm trying to read all the comments, but we got a Q&A to go to. So as always, Q&As every Thursday. If you guys want to comment questions for next week, feel free to do that. And let's just get into these questions. Alright, first question comes from Bungarang YT. Do you think O'Malley deserves to be the #1 contender? So if you mean, like, does he deserve a title shot? I don't mind him getting a title shot. Obviously, a lot of it has to do with the star power. That's why he got the Petr Yan matchup. It was really just because of his star power, right? I mean, he really wasn't beating anybody top level. He lost to Marlon Vera. Now, if you mean in the rankings, I really don't agree with this at all, which is something that I talked about yesterday in my video. I just think it didn't really make any sense, I think people like Corey Sandhagen, Marlon Vera. But I guess to play devil's advocate, who really deserves to be the #1 contender other than Sean O'Malley? I don't know. It's kind of difficult. He came from number 13 or something like that all the way to #1. It's a little crazy to me, but I don't mind him getting a title shot if that's what you mean. Chandler versus Conor, who will win? Alright, first time I'm giving my official prediction. I'm going with Conor McGregor by knockout. I think he's going to put the lights of Chandler out. Chandler's just so reckless, when he comes in. We've seen Chandler get beaten by guys like Justin Gaethje, and I think Conor's better than Justin Gaethje in my opinion. The only thing is that Justin Gaethje does have obviously better takedown defense, but when we're talking about shot selection and boxing, you gotta go with Conor McGregor. I think he's gonna knock out Michael Chandler in the first round. I think it's gonna be shocking. I think his takedown defense will be enough. I think either Chandler will kind of gas in the second round and Conor will be able to take over from there. Not saying that Conor has the best cardio per se, but I think he'll be in better physical condition than Michael Chandler will be. I think Conor's just a little bit more smarter on where he spends his energy, so I'm gonna go Conor McGregor by knockout. Alright, next question. Bro, can you please grow some facial hair? Look, as you guys know, I've talked about on the channel, I'm just unable to grow some facial hair. At the age of 20 years old, still waiting on that day. But as soon as it happens, you guys will see me with a fresh beard, Maybe just something wrong with my genetics. I don't know why you guys have to roast me. I don't know why you guys have to make me insecure. You know what? We're done with this video. Kidding. You guys are lucky I'm not a sensitive bitch. Let's get into this. Alright, next question. Do you think Adesanya is a top 5 middleweight GOAT? Yeah, you'd have to put him up there. I mean, obviously, Anderson Silva, in my opinion, is #1. And I mean, I guess #2, you'd have to put Adesanya. And then I think #3 would be Whitaker. I don't really know who else after that, but that's definitely the top 3 in my opinion. Adesanya has just had matches with people that really were not competitive at all. Like, you look at the Jared Cannonier fight, Marvin Vettori. I mean, where do you see guys dominate Marvin Vettori and Jared Cannonier other than Robert Whitaker, right? A lot of people have close fights with them. Marvin Vettori has beaten literally every other guy. It's just guys aren't doing what he's doing right now. Even with the loss to Alex Pereira, you'd have to put him at #2 in my opinion. So he's definitely in the top 5. All right, Walter. Put your dick away, Walter. Do you think we'll ever have another superstar fighter like Conor? If so, who do you think it will be? I mean, it's hard to predict, but yeah, definitely. I mean, Masvidal popped up out of nowhere. I think Masvidal doesn't really compare to Conor in terms of superstardom. I think if Sean O'Malley wins the title or dominates Aljamain, I think that would be a big deal. Maybe he could start getting on par with Conor. He already is a pretty big star, but maybe he could actually get to those levels of like selling 1.5 million pay-per-views. So as of right now, yeah, I think I would probably lean towards Sean O'Malley, but it's probably also some guy that we haven't even heard of, Alexander Volkanovski's becoming a little bit of a bigger star. I don't know if he'll get to Conor levels, of course, but with that fight with Islam Makhachev, I mean, he's becoming a pretty big name as well. A lot of people are starting to like him more than they did last week, but my guess is probably someone that we don't know, or Sean O'Malley. I would say Patty, but Patty honestly isn't going to win a lot of fights in the top 15 in my opinion. If you need to win fights in order to become a star, and that's what I'm saying. I think if Sean O'Malley destroys Henry Cejudo, destroys Aljamain Sterling, and becomes like a champ, and a respectable champ at that, I think he will become a big star. Like, imagine if Sean O'Malley wins the bantamweight title, goes up to featherweight, and destroys Alexander Volkanovski. Like, that would be insane. I'm not saying that'll happen, but the superstardom from there would just be absolutely bananas. All right, next question. Have you ever tried a combat sport? Yes, I have. A lot of you guys know I do jiu-jitsu, I do kickboxing, I've done boxing in the past. For all of you in the comments sometimes saying, hey, I don't know what I'm talking about, I haven't done this, I haven't done that, you're wrong. What are you even talking about? Sorry, I'm fired up because the last video had some unnecessary hate comments. I'm gonna be honest, but it's okay. I don't really care about the comments, honestly. It's just, what I hate actually? I'm gonna go on like a little side rant. It's not the hate comments. Like, okay, if you're gonna have hate comments, fine. I had it on the Patty video, but the difference between the Patty video and this video was just stupid comments. Like, there are legitimately idiots in my comment section that do not know what they're talking about, that literally just make up things instead of just being unbiased. That you could even say, okay, I don't think that Dana hates Islam, but to just make up lies, and to also just lie about the RDA and Islam situation when I literally said I wouldn't have blamed Islam for not taking the fight. It's just crazy to me. Some people don't even listen to the video. Some people don't even watch it. So for those people, I don't even respond to them because I could be spending my energy to a lot of like nicer people that actually do comment, because 99% of the people here, very nice, very chill. Even if they disagree, usually very nice disagreements. And that's what I'm here for, is just, you know, to have a conversation. But if you're just gonna be one of those like moronic people, like on another side note, to go totally off topic, on Instagram, like there's this guy that I'm trolling in the comment section. Like I'm gonna put it on the screen now. So 16 weeks ago, you know, this was when like Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev were gonna become 5 stars. And I don't get like why any of them would be 5 stars. Like, okay, maybe Charles Oliveira, but Islam Makhachev at that point had just fought Bobby Green. Like, what are we talking about here? So I was like, oh, he's 5 stars, I'm deleting the game. And then after 16 weeks, Mans replied, Islam's beat Volk. Islam is 6 stars right now. So then I said, Islam sucks. He couldn't even beat Adriano Martins, which obviously you guys know I have a lot of respect for Islam. I've given him props multiple times on the channel, which obviously you guys know is mega cap. What should I reply now? I should reply with something. No, he did it. Lol. Nunez beats him in 2 rounds legitimately. It's just like people like that, bro. Like, I'm not even gonna waste my brain power like talking to them, arguing with them. Some of these haters that just come on and just comment make absolutely no sense. But enough. We've already given too much time for them. Let's just move on. All right, Bo Nickal versus Islam catchweight bout. Catchweight. I mean, that would be some catchweight because Bo Nickal's 85, Islam Makhachev's 155. So I guess it would probably meet in the middle, like 170, 175. Like that would probably be a huge disadvantage for Islam. So I'd go with Bo Nickal. Pound for pound, though, I'd probably go Islam. Gribbles of Owls says, you want to come to my jiu-jitsu class? Like legitimately, like honestly, I know there's probably maybe some killers on YouTube. You know, some people trying to, if I meet up with them, they could kill me. But you know, I'd actually be down. If you are from New York, legitimately, DM me on Twitter, DM me on Instagram. I will go to your jiu-jitsu class 100%, and we'll chop it up. We'll chill. What's up? All right, would you ever consider doing MMA? Honestly, yeah. So I will 1000% at some point in my life compete in some sort of way, whether it's like boxing, MMA, you know, even just like some grappling match. I would love to do. I've talked about this before. Me and like some other like MMA YouTuber, we do some sort of thing. You know, we obviously see like the Misfits people doing their own thing. You know, obviously I have to get my numbers up. We just hit 9,000 subs, so you guys are helping here. But if we got to like 30, 60K, something like that, we can maybe start making some moves. You know, if we start averaging, you know, 20K a video, maybe me and MMA Guru will hop in the cage, hop in the boxing ring. But I'd have to get in shape. But I'm a big fan of MMA Guru, so it's all just fun. I would just love to do something like that in the future. But who knows, you know. But my point is, yes, at some point I will do some sort of like mixed martial art, whether it's like actual MMA or it's kickboxing, boxing, whatever it is, at some point. All right, next question. I see a lot of people throw around robbery after any close fight, where the guy they want to win loses. What does it take for a fight to be actually considered a robbery in your book? So like I've said before, you know, my philosophy on robberies is I rarely call anything a robbery. Like I probably have like 5 fights or something like that I actually call robberies, because I am in the philosophy of like, look, if you take it to the judges and you don't finish the fight, you are at that point taking the risk that they are going to mess up the decision. And that's just my philosophy. It's like that, like tough, like you are giving it to somebody else, you should try to finish the fight. And I get sometimes you can't finish the fight, but that's on you, you know what I mean? Like that's your own fault. And if I were like an MMA fighter and I go to a decision that I know is semi-close, then I'm just gonna have to accept the decision and be like, hey man, I should have finished the fight. However, there are certain fights that I consider robberies. For example, the Paddy Pimblett Jared Gordon fight is a straight up robbery, because as much as I'm saying, okay, you have to accept bad decisions, you can't accept wrong decisions. Like that was legitimately criminal. Like if you told me that the judges were paid off by Paddy himself, I would have believed that, because I don't get it. I scored 3 rounds for Jared. If you want to score 1 round for Paddy, okay, like fine, but I legitimately think you could score 3 rounds for Paddy there. So in my opinion, that's just a big robbery. Another fight is the Zalgas and Magulov fight with, I forgot who it was, that just happened recently. That was a straight up robbery. Like that was like holy just wrong. I know that there was some robbery. I didn't really watch the fight though. That happened on the prelims of the last card. All right, next question. Thoughts on Bo Nickal making his official UFC debut on the main card of a pay-per-view? I'm excited for this debut, and honestly, I think I'm in the minority here. I think Bo Nickal is overhyped. I think a lot of people are overhyping, and we've seen a lot of wrestlers go to the UFC. Yes, a few fights have been good, but they haven't been against like top level dudes. They haven't been against UFC guys. Once you get to the UFC, that's a whole different caliber. And I think everybody filling him with this overconfidence is a huge mistake for him. I think he really has to respect his opponent. He's not Hamzat. He can't just go in there and shoot for the legs, get it right away, and finish him. You know, maybe he will be able to, but when you get to the higher levels, you're not going to be able to. Like you saw with Hamzat and Gilbert Burns. And look, he might be legit. He might be a UFC champion. He might be the next big thing, but we just don't know, and that's why I think he's overhyped. We really have nothing to show for it, and I think everybody should just take a chill pill. And for him in the pay-per-view, I don't mind him being in the pay-per-view. I'm surprised that the Derek Brunson fight isn't on the pay-per-view against Dricus du Plessis, but I don't mind it being on the pay-per-view though. Our next question: would you rather take a groin shot or get oil checked? All right, let's Let's look up the definition of oil check. It involves one fighter putting a finger or several fingers inside an opponent's anus. It can be used to gain leverage, putting the opponent in a more advantageous position. I didn't realize it was that deep, no pun intended. Like, I just thought it was like, I'm not even gonna say what I thought it was, but I don't want to do either. So yeah, I'm actually just not gonna pick either here. What if they are in the same weight? So Volk's weight below 155 during the fight? That is absolutely delusional. Well, let me ask you this. This is a comment talking about the fact that I said pound for pound, Volk deserves to still be #1, because if they were the same weight, Volk would probably have done better, right? Let me ask you this. Is Islam 155 the day of the fight? No, I think you're severely delusional if you're going to tell me that they were the same weight the day of the fight. Alex Pereira and Adesanya definitely did not weigh the same when they fought, and I don't think you would say that they did, so I think you're the one severely delusional here. Is Dana White racist? Personally, I don't think he's racist. I don't think that this is a race-driven thing from Islam Makhachev. I did see a lot of people in my comment section saying that he was Islamophobic, had a problem against Muslims. I don't think so. He has a good relationship with Habib. He has a good relationship with Hamza Chimaev. He goes to Abu Dhabi a lot. I don't think he's Islamophobic. I don't think he's racist. I don't think anything like that. I just think most of all he's petty. I think Islam Makhachev affected his business with the whole UFC 272 situation. I can agree with Dana White in the fact that it really doesn't make sense for him not to take the fight, but I get it still anyway. I don't really blame him for not taking the fight, but I just think it's really fueled by that. I don't think it has anything to do with race or anything like that, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think Raul Rosas' confidence or arrogance, depending on how you look at it, will quickly put a target on his back? That's another guy that if he keeps winning, he could be a star as well. I mean, yeah, I did see that Aljamain Sterling had a lot of problems with him, said that he was basically arrogant when he went to the gym with him, and I mean, I don't really see him that arrogant. You know, I've heard of that story, but other than that, I mean, his last fight, I forgot who he was with, but the dude really seemed to be the dickhead in that situation. Like, he was the one that was like, you know, basically starting beef with this 18-year-old. Like, what are you doing? He isn't a guy that's going to go like undefeated in the UFC. I think he has a loss, I'm not sure, but he will definitely lose sooner or later, because that's just too young. Like, you will definitely get checked at some point regardless. But that's gonna wrap up the questions. Thank you guys, every single one of you guys, for asking questions. Tomorrow I have a good video planned, a video that I've been planning for a little bit, so stay tuned to that. I feel like it's on the same scale of the Islam Makhachev video, kind of, but it's about a different fighter, so that'll be your hint. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did, and I'll see you guys in the next one.